Welcome to Women Talk Construction, where we are building up women and amplifying voices every single day. Even when we're not on the podcast, Angela and I are finding ways to get these women's voices out in the world. Today, we've got a really special guest. Hello, Angela. Before we introduce her, how are
Hello,
you doing today?
Christy. I am wonderful, and I
Good,
can't wait
good.
to hear our next speaker.
No, I can't either. So I'm going to just introduce her a little bit. I got to meet her when she first launched her company. So being able to interview her 5 years later, I think that
Oh,
was during
wow.
COVID or right after COVID that we met. Being able to interview her today, 5 years later, and share her successes and her challenges with other people who are going through the same thing is really exciting for me. So, the founder of Linarc, Shanthi, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. I'm going to let her do it. But she's a seasoned entrepreneur and the CEO of Linarc. It's a collaborative construction management platform. We're excited that you're here today, Shanthi. And please tell our audience just a little bit about you.
Mm.
Everything about her is going to be on our website and all over social media channels and also all the platforms that you listen to podcasts. Thank you, Shanthi, for being here today.
Thank you so much, Christi and Angela. It's such a pleasure to be on this podcast. I've been following your journey for some time. And it's such a thrill to be here today. My name is Shanthi Rajan. So you all have it out there now.
Thank you.
You can say it. Yeah, and I'm the founder of Linarc. We are, as Christi mentioned, a construction management platform. And we built it for the industry grounds up, keeping the field and office in mind.
Nice. So let's get started on some of the really good stuff we can't wait to share this with the audience.
Yes.
So breaking ground, what kind of lessons did you learn as a female founder as you were launching this construction tech wonderful option?
Yeah, so when I started on this particular journey, as you mentioned before, Christy, I'm a seasoned entrepreneur, worked in different products before. When I started on this particular platform development, I had a hard hat and boots in my car, and I saw a construction site. I would stop, go in, and if they would let me in, talk to people on the side just to understand, as I was new to the industry. That's how I got my feet really wet, really talking to so many people on the field. One thing I would say is something that I was surprised as I went and did this was how friendly people are in this industry.
Yes.
Okay, that was such a difference from what I had as a perception. So when I went in every site, people would say yes or no, I could or could not enter the site, but they were willing to answer questions. So that was a surprise for me. And a donut or a bagel took me a long way inside too. So all of those combinations is how I learned a lot about this industry. And at that time, I didn't sense this huge barrier of women, men in the industry, but I could literally see every site literally had men, very few women at all. So that was something I was getting to learn and understand how to navigate.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah, tech certainly is moving our industry to new heights. So how is software truly transforming life on a job site from safety to efficiency?
Yeah, that's a great question, Angela. So even when I started on this, right, I could see that one of the things was people were not using or like very minimal tech on the field, So when I would go in and meet and ask them like, hey, what are you doing for this? They would say, I would pick up the phone, we would text, and that was a lot of tech for them. When you go back to even a few years where the only thing on the site was blueprint, and people would come in, learn, measure on the blueprint, right? So when you just take from there to now, it's been a rapid race to adopting tech across the whole construction ecosystem, So every aspect of, before it used to be just design was built on a system, but today, every aspect of project management as well as field management, safety on site, whether it be, hard hat with cameras or, sensors,
Yeah.
everything is now tech enabled. Okay. So, and different companies or contractors are in different stages of adopting. And one of the barriers I found was, a product that's built for a large contractor company doesn't really fit in every way into the hands of a small company. Okay, so that's what I learned with my hard hat and boots, meeting so many companies. So that's why I designed Linarc really to, target such that, everybody in the ecosystem can have a platform that suits their needs, and they can all be tech enabled. So with that in mind, right, so lots and lots of fields are now, field contractors now adopting, products like ours. And as you mentioned, safety, right? It's such a big concern that any tech, whether like I'm talking to companies where they have cameras on site, so they're able to fully detect any safety issues coming up. Yes.
You created a solution.
Yeah,
yes.
for sure.
Yes.
So from vision, I heard part of this, from vision to execution was a long process, right?
Yes.
So how do you lead with purpose in a fragmented industry?
The key word you said is fragmented, Christy.
Yes,
Okay.
it is very key.
And that was the journey for me as well. In my previous companies, it was the industry was in this fragmented, the solutions I built out. So here learning was really talking to enough people to look at the, get the gist of what is needed from all those conversations. It might be fragmented, but the solutions need not be so chopped up. Okay. So when you think of all these companies are, managing projects, they're hitting the field, their crew guys and the foremen on the field are managing, then you're able to, learn from that and create a system that is, can be mass adapted, rather than it being choppy,
Right.
So
Yes.
that was the vision with which I started as well. Yes, fragmented, even though it's fragmented, more and more contractors today are accessible. They have become very tech aware, the value that tech brings. So when you reach out to them via email or pick up the phone and call them, they're open to listening. That's been a big game changer, that we are able to access more and more. And a lot of products are there available for the contractors to choose from as well. It's not just like one thing there, which has really changed the landscape of construction and tech.
It's really cool because that's balancing the innovation with the day-to-day activities in the construction industry. And that has been a hard battle. I mean, it was for years and years and years, 33 years, and I am able to say that. It was not that easy. I used to have to take my quotes physically in my car to my customers because they didn't even have a fax machine. So I'm telling you,
they didn't have a fax machine.
They did not have a fax. I did, but they didn't. So I had to drive it to the job site. So anyway,
I'm so glad we don't have fax machines anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean, I enjoyed them at the time. That was tech for us, right? I mean, it really was. It was making my life easier. I could send 100 faxes in a minute versus, lots of things. So
I know from that to now where tech is, permeated different aspects to including managing, work through sensors. It's a big leap that's happening in tech and construction. So
yes, it's really cool to see all the things that are happening.
There's so many. So Christi and I talk about this often, and especially in our TEDx, we have to get people in the industry. We are losing people. I mean, it's like 500,000 that we need probably by the year, by the end of 2026. So how do you suggest we build and retain diverse teams that will shape the future, of our industry? And understand tech too, right?
That too. Well, we're going to get more younger people just because we
need
tech,
them,
Just
right?
because you have tech.
Yes.
So you don't have to do what you did, Christy. You don't have to drive to different sites,
Exactly.
drop off, codes and blueprints, all of that, right? So that literally means we are providing systems that will work with the way today's generations are working with, want to work. Okay, so the more companies adopt tech, the more they will be able to tap into a different population segment, and with safety being something that is being heavily addressed. Younger generation will look at this as a very viable field.
Yes,
and if there is some trade-based training also that's woven in, I mean, some companies are offering it, some community colleges, if they offer that, suddenly we are looking at younger generation because it's a long career path, right? I mean, once you start in construction, this is a field that is never going to die out.
No,
You're not
no,
going to lose your job because
no.
someday. So this is going to be there. So for a lot of people, it's a really, really good industry to be in. As long as contractors start adopting tech in a big scale. I think that is the key point for being able to tap into the
Yes.
younger generation of workers out there that we can leverage. Yeah.
So one of the things that you like to talk about, and I know that you've done it, when we first met, you didn't have a big team, and you do have a fairly nice team now. So how are you building your team to build the future? This is something we talk about in our TEDx too, how
Mhm,
important it is
mhm.
for us to collaborate, to have diversity of thought, to just get everybody's perspective so that the outcome is exceptional.
Exactly. So the industry we are solving for us different types of people. Okay, some with a lot of education and capabilities, some who have grown up on the field. So to be able to just support like varying needs of the industry, right? You need to be able to think differently as well. It's not like,
Mhm.
hey, we are selling some tech to tech guys, so here is how it needs to be built. That thought
Right.
itself changes, and also it's going from office to field to people on the cars. So you're targeting people in different areas of work
Mm.
as well. So and from a senior PM all the way to a crew guy. So if you put in all of that, if you don't have diversity in your thinking, if you don't have creativity in your design process, if you don't bring in varied opinions and thoughts into what is being built, you will lose a lot of the target audience that we want to hit. So that literally means you have to address diversity and creativity right at
Yes.
the core of what we are looking to build. And construction has always been a quasi-diverse field, except for probably women not being enough represented, and that is changing now. I mean, I'm seeing
Yeah.
women superintendents to
Mm.
PMs, and we've always had CFOs and legal people as women being in those areas. But now on the field, off the field, PMs
Mhm.
running it, that's also happening a lot. So when I hired my team, it was really with how diverse can you be in your thinking, how creative can you
Smart.
be,
Yeah.
and our product design team is really challenged all the way to think about, hey, you're building on the iPad. Do you know they wear these fat gloves, and they should still be able
Yeah.
to, they don't have to take off all the time. So we do voice enabled on our mobile apps, So that came out of literally understanding that, how do you do that? So being creative as well as
Yeah.
diverse range of thinking, I think it's any industry needs that, and
Yeah.
companies that embrace that thought process will really put out systems that help their target audience a lot.
I am a big I'm a big visionary, right? So
Yes.
sometimes people have to pull me down into the present because I'm totally not in the present.
Yes.
I wanna do things 20 years from now.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that I love doing the most when I think of something, a new idea, which happens about 75 times a day, and I have to figure out how to filter that. The older I get, the easier it is for me to filter. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, I don't have time for that. But one of the things that I love is that I have learned over my maturity in the business is I like to talk to women and men in my age group. I want to talk to women and men in the younger age group, and I want to talk to women and men who've gone before me. And I feel like when I get all those resources back, that's when I can determine that this idea is worthy of more thought. And I just think that's something I wish I had known when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Instead of randomly throwing things at the wall on the regular and they didn't work, I now am smart enough to put some research behind it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that smartness didn't come because I'm smart. It took me 30 years to figure out that, oh, I shouldn't be throwing things at the wall. This is a waste of time. But I just think it's very cool because the little seed of thought that you have that is, what you think is going to be amazing, when you hear all the different perspective, it's like, oh, it could be even more amazing if I change my thought on that or on this. And I
Mhm.
love that. Sorry, I just had to throw that out there. It's exciting to me to hear
I
these conversations.
I love it, and we're going so fast with the questions. I'm going to throw one in, Christy, before you
Oh
have the
yeah, please
last
do.
one.
Please do.
And it's kind of based on what you just said. What advice would you give others listening to this episode that maybe somebody's asked you for advice and you keep getting this question over and over? Share with our audience what that response would be.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to take it in the area of my expertise, which is
Okay.
basically, tech,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
one thing I would say is content is still emerging. Okay, it's not like you
Mhm.
might. It's been done, and there are some million companies out there. There are so many aspects of construction that is deserving of tech and tech-enabled solutions as well as tech advancement. So, if you're an entrepreneur sitting out there, or thinking of what I could do, I would say take a hard look at contact. There's so much of opportunities there.
Mm.
And for the younger you are, I would fall back on Christie's thing. Talk to more people, because when you're building something for this industry, you definitely want to talk to diverse people across different age groups, different types of contractors, and even suppliers, all of that. And you might come up with a product or a solution that literally changes your life as well as the industry. Okay, so
Yeah.
that I would say. And then one thing to understand is when it comes to contact and contractors and whoever you're supporting in this industry, you need to find them. You need to go out there, reach out,
Yes.
explain your solution, make sure that they understand the value, and then you'll see adoption happening. Okay.
Right.
So
Mhm.
that's one thing that people should know when they are getting into this industry. And then the one that I said way before, contractors are super friendly.
They are.
And
Mhm.
They're
they
the
do,
salt of the earth.
yeah, they do like to talk and explain. So
Mhm.
if you're not, if you don't sit inside your office and think everything is available for you, that's where you'll face problem. Reach out. There's so many problems still to be addressed in this industry, and it'll be great to welcome your ideas and your thoughts coming in.
I
Yeah.
love that
Awesome. I
feedback.
like that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, last question, and this is a good one. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, I
it
can't
was a
wait to hear
hard
it.
one. I'm sure it was a very hard one at some point
Yeah.
in your career. So when you start something, the first thing you got to think about is funding, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Then the second thing that comes to your mind is failure. What if it doesn't work? And then you find forward momentum. That's what I've found. And I'm sure that you've been in the same situation. Explain a little bit to us how that transition happens and how they can stay inspired while they're navigating some of those things before the forward momentum happens.
Yeah, just even thinking back on my journey, right, with all the startups I've done, it is a hard one. Okay. I think it comes down to two things, faith and grit.
Yes, I
Right.
agree. Yay,
So,
love it.
I would say simply, and how you get faith is like, talking to people, validating your idea,
Mm,
see that's a market
Mhm.
for it. Those are all groundwork you have to do. And that's what gets you grounded in what you're building. And for me, for my other two products, it took us, as little as 3 months to understand what I was building and the people I was going to adopt or sell my system to over time. But this one, it was a long haul. It took me a while,
mhm.
more than a couple years to ground myself in what I was going to build. Okay, so it's like that. So what takes you through that is vision, as well as the faith that
Yeah.
you can do this, and you're doing the right thing. It's a combination of all of this.
Yes.
For me, it was because I've done a couple of successful startups. It just helped me navigate that journey a little bit better. But grit is something that you learn. You
Mm.
have to, if you
Mhm.
don't have it, the impatience of not being where you think you should be right now is where you get, pulled into, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm not making progress. I'm not doing enough. Nothing
Yeah.
is changing. That forward momentum, right? It comes at a point you have to survive until that point.
Yes.
Coming back to funding, we have not raised funds to date. I've self-funded it, and we have built a solid team
Wow.
as well with that.
Wow. That's
Uh,
amazing.
that comes
Mhm.
from my faith in what I'm doing. But we are at a good place right now. Okay, so
Good.
but that's what I
Good.
would put. During all that time, it was just getting feedback from my target customers and them telling, looks like something interesting. That's as much as I would get. So that
Yeah.
was enough to keep me going. But coming back to that funding alone, Christy, yes, combination.
Mm.
Construction before has a dearth in funding. Construction tech has a dearth in funding as a whole. Traditional VCs do not understand what it means to build and sell in this industry, so that is the
Mhm.
problem. And then throw on top of that, you're a woman building a construction tech product without a lot of experience in the industry, right? So you bundle all of that together. It does cause a challenge, but I think both traditional VCs as well as other funders need to wake up and understand that this industry is just exploding with ideas, entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of money for them to make in it if they would just start investing. And women, we have a very different perspective, right?
We do.
And we look at to solve something complex for this industry, you need to consider the young versus the senior, seasoned people on this industry, as well as different trades. So having that ability to pull all of that together, which we do on a daily basis, whether it's in our house or an office or navigating up and about, we have deeper capabilities, and both of these people have to realize and just do the right thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we love the message, Shanthi, that you shared today, especially about faith and grit, because Christi and I know exactly what that's like. And thank you, guests, for joining us on Women Talk Construction today. Please definitely follow Shanthi and her path and what she's doing, and check out her awesome platform and software. You can go to our website and see it. And please subscribe, share, comment, tell us, give us feedback. We love feedback. And we hope that this conversation today has definitely inspired you. Who knows, to even start your own tech company in construction? Because Shanthi says it's just emerging.
Plenty of room. Yes.
Plenty of room. Join her. So, Shanthi, why don't you share with our audience how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a pleasure being on the show and talking to both of you, Christi and Angela. So for those of you listening, you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn. Just search my name, Linarc, and Shanthi Rajan. You'll find me. Happy to connect with any of you and answer your questions. And our website, www.linarc.com. It's got all the information about what we are building and who we serve. So.
Woo.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So much for being on today. And all of you listeners, thank you for listening. We couldn't do what we do every day without you. Have a wonderful day.